All right, welcome back for the Star Trek Rewatch. I do this every Thursday. We've made it up to episode 24 in season number 2. So there's only 2 episodes left after this, and we'll be wrapping up the second season. So this is The Ultimate Computer. As always, I will read the summary from Alan Asherman's Star Trek Compendium. Then I'll give my thoughts on this, and then open it up for you to leave what you think about it below in the comments section. So here we go. The writer was D.C. Fontana. The story was by Lawrence Wolfe. The director was John Meredith Lucas. Stardate 4729.4. Dr. Richard Daystrom, who developed the duotronic breakthrough in computer technology 25 years ago, fears he is now regarded as a prodigy who has lost his touch. Obsessed with proving himself, Daystrom uses his own mental patterns to program his new M5 computer and convinces Starfleet Command that it should test the machine by installing it on the USS Enterprise. Although Captain Kirk expresses reservations about the machine's presence, the first test appears successful. So they're doing like some war games, right? When Commodore Robert Wesley leads a squad of 4 starships in practice maneuvers against the M5 run Enterprise, the computer takes complete control of the starship and responds as though the attack is real. So there's actually an incident prior to this when the M5 computer, when they hook it up to the Enterprise, they have the initial set of war games in which the Enterprise, basically functions at a higher speed and efficiency than the other vessels, and it wins its exercise. And the captain of this ship, or Commodore, I should say, congratulates the Enterprise and refers to Captain Kirk as Captain Dunsel, which Spock explains to Dr. McCoy is a part that serves no purpose. So we really have like computers or artificial intelligence replacing people. And this is a fear in society right now. Truck drivers, for instance, or people that are hauling freight worry about automated trucks replacing them. And I suppose that they will at some point, you know. But yeah, that's kind of what this episode's dealing with. And even people talking about in baseball maybe getting rid of the umpire and having a computer do the balls and the strikes rather than a live person. We're talking about people being replaced by machines. It's really at the heart of this episode. But the M5 computer does malfunction, or I don't know. I don't think it malfunctions, but since it's programmed by the memory engrams of Dr. Richard Daystrom, it kind of has a mind of its own. It ends up attacking an automated ore freighter and destroying it. At which point, like, McCoy completely flips out. If there would have been people on board that ship, you'd be a murderer right now, essentially. They try to turn the M5 off, and they can't. Surprise, surprise. So when the war games commence here for the second round, the Enterprise is completely under control of the M5 computer, who's treating this as if it's a real exercise and not a battle simulation. So that's where we're at in this summary. So the computer takes control of our starship. It responds as though the attack is real. The crew of the starship Excalibur is killed. I thought it was the Potemkin. Is I wrong? There were 4 ships, right? I don't remember. Kirk treats the M5 like an errant child, forces the machine to realize it's committed murder. So we do have Kirk talking the machine to death again. The machine sentences itself to death by lowering the Enterprise's shields just as the rest of the War Games fleet moves into attack. Scotty and Spock pull out the plug on the M5, restoring the Enterprise to Captain Kirk's control. Kirk then calls off the fleet. That's not really accurate. The Enterprise does not raise its shields. They've lost communications, and Kirk, he's not able to communicate with the attack fleet, so he leaves the shields down in an appeal that Commodore, what was his name? Commodore Wesley will recognize that the Enterprise is out of commission, or is not responding to the threat of attack and act in accordance, which he does. He calls off the attack of the fleet. Okay, but yeah, this one ended with Kirk talking the computer to death. And I don't know, the ending was a little bit wonky. We've seen this, I think this is like what, the fourth time? I'm trying to remember. We had the Changeling where he talks Nomad to death. We had, I'm trying to think of the other incidents where this happened. Landru, he talked Landru to death in the Return of the Archons. I think there was a Harry Mudd episode, the second one, where he talked the computer civilization to death, and now we've got this one here. So there was no smoke and sparks flying out of the computer this time. The computer just simply shut itself off. When Kirk made an appeal to, quote unquote, the laws of man and God, told the computer that it was a murderer, and that asked it what the penalty for murder was, and it was death, so the computer killed itself. Spock said, in an effort to atone for its murder. Now, I don't know, the memory engrams of the Daystrom were imprinted on the computer. I don't know how a computer feels remorse for its actions. Seems to me that it would operate by pure logic. So that is a little bit of a flaw in the episode. And then I could get into the appeal to God, the laws of God and man, or the laws of man and God. What exactly does that mean? I'm not sure. Like, Star Trek is clearly based upon like classic liberalism as it existed in the 1960s. So it's a little bit wonky. I'm not exactly sure. This wraps up very quickly. There's some really interesting ideas here, but I mean, like, if you wanted a fully flushed out like conflict of the ideas of like classical liberalist ideas and then like the laws of God, you'd have to read something like Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. This episode is just not going to get that metaphysical or that philosophical, but it was a fun and enjoying episode. And I liked all of the scenes of discussion between Spock and McCoy in this one, the part where McCoy drinks beverages with Captain Kirk, and Kirk says to Captain Dunsel, and then McCoy says no to Captain James T. Kirk, which is really touching, like a friendship moment. Great stuff. Stuff with Spock saying that he did not want to serve under a machine, that his loyalty belonged to the ship's captain. More great stuff. We had Sulu and Chekhov in this one. Sulu's been gone a lot. He was back last week, but it seems like this one everybody was involved. Scotty gets some action. One red shirt death when the guy tries to unplug the M5, gets vaporized. That brings our death count up to 46 crew member deaths. If we were counting like deaths, this had a high death count because the M5 killed a whole lot of people, including like the captain and first officer, I think, of the Starship Excalibur. So this was a high body count. Anyways, I thought this was a pretty good one, and probably like in my top 10. If I had like a top 10 episodes of season 2, this would probably be in top 10 because it was action-packed, good character moments, lots of starship battling in this one. And the only thing that was a little bit, wonky was the ending. But I'm not going to fault it too much because I had a good time watching this one. So let me know what you think about it below. And next week, I think we have bread. I think it's bread to circuses. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.